In this video, we're going to have a look at calculating the gradient from two sets of points. So to calculate the gradient, we can either use the formula of gradient equals rise over run, or gradient equals my y2 minus y1 value over my x2 minus x1 value. For the first formula, we can use when you're calculating the gradient off of a graph. For the second formula, where we have our two lots of points, we can use when we're calculating the gradient of a graph from a table of values or just from two sets of points provided to us. Now, when we're calculating the gradient, we are calculating the slope of a line. When the line is sloping upwards, then the gradient is going to be positive and the value of the gradient will be a positive number. When the line is sloping downwards, then the gradient is going to be a negative gradient and our value of the gradient will be a negative number. So let's have a look at an example calculation to calculate the gradient of a straight line. So in our first example, we want to find the gradient of the line between -5 and 3 and -4 and 9. So my first step is going to be to write the formula that I'm going to use. So gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, because I'm using two sets of points, I need to use the y and x formula. I cannot use rise over run. So the next step, once I've completed writing the formula, is to go back and label my two sets of points, x1, y1, x2, y2. That will enable me to substitute in the values of x1 and y1, x2 and y2 back into my formula. So the gradient is going to equal y2 minus y1, so 9 minus 3 over x2 minus x1, -4 minus -5. So that's going to equal 9 minus 3 is 6. -4 minus -5 is equal to -4 plus 5. So it's going to equal 1. So my gradient between my 2 points is going to equal 6. Now, because that is a positive number, I can tell from the gradient that my line between those 2 points will be sloping upwards. So having a look at my second example, finding the gradient between -2 and 5 and 1 and -4. My first step is going to be to write the formula. So gradient equals y2 take y1 over x2 minus x1. Going back to my two sets of coordinates and labeling them x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I can substitute in those values into my formula. So y2 minus y1 is -4 minus 5 over x2 minus x1, so 1 minus -2. So -4 minus 5 is -9 over 1 minus -2 will become 1 plus 2, which is 3. So -9 divided by 3 is equal to -3. So the gradient of my line between my points -2, 5 and 1, -4 is equal to -3. And because the gradient is equal to a negative number, I can tell that my line is going to be sloping downwards. So there's examples of how do we calculate the gradient between 2 points when we are given those 2 points to use.